Right then guys, in this video I'm going to talk to you about how to look like a man and why you still feel like a little boy. There's so many guys out there that do not feel like a grown man. They're looking at other guys on the street and they're seeing that they are built like grown men. They have the jawline, they have the muscle, they have the big strong hands and forearms and neck and the added extras. Maybe they got the big beards, and you look at them, you look at yourself, and you just see that you're a little boy. You're on the way, you're working hard. But these other people, they just look like thick, solid men. They sound different, they look different, they walk differently, they operate different. You see the way that women look at them and you think, there's something different about them. Their testosterone's either higher, they have a certain look to them, they have a certain demeanor to them, they have a very rugged look, they dress a certain way. And usually a lot of it is size as well. There's a certain size to them that's just packed out and they just look like a grown man. And you're thinking to yourself, why don't I look like that? Why have I not made that transition yet? When's it going to happen? Now, I'm going to give you 3 tips on how to get there. But first, I am going to tell you a story. Up until the age of around about 24, 25, I think it was 25, I was pretty skinny. I mean, I had like a footballer's build. I wasn't the biggest guy. I hadn't really gone to the gym and lifted heavy weights. I'd done a few little bits at home and, you bench pressed in the gym with your friends a bit, but I'd done calisthenics more than anything else. And it just hit me. I was like, do you know what? I'm 25. There's probably not going to be another opportunity to be able to do this in my life for the first time. I was just figuring that, like, if I was 32 and I decided to do it, it's not too late, but it's not as good as doing it at 25. And I was like, if I don't do it now, I'm never going to do it. So I just dedicated. I just said, okay, it's going to be a year of just lifting the heaviest weights I can, just doing compound lifts, and I'm going to see where I end up. And I started adding some man meat. And people started to refer to me as, somebody saw my ex-girlfriend in work and said, I saw you and your boyfriend on the weekends. He was like, he said this, what's the film? What's the Thor film? He said, I had a bit of hair back then as well. He said, Ragnarok. That was it. He said, he was an American guy and he was like that Ragnarok looking guy. When that gets back to you, you're like, oh my God, like I've actually put on some muscle. Like you're wearing a tight t-shirt, maybe it's a medium. You're looking pretty big. You've got a little bit of muscle too. You've built some size and people start to recognize it. And that's when you start to see that it clicks into place, and it's a very nice feeling, but it takes time. It's not going to happen instantly. I mean, you are in theory just a little boy. When you're first starting out, you're a little boy, but there are 3 ways to turn yourself into a man, and I'm going to tell you guys this now. So, number 1, let's start with the obvious, and we've just touched on it. You need to go to the gym, but I'll do it properly. I'll break it down properly because that's just the cop-out. So you've got to go to the gym, but you have to lift heavy. You have to do compound lifts, and at the end of every session, you have to work on the extra muscles. Now, every Sunday, I used to do a whole session on extra muscles. I'm talking like forearms and stuff. Like you can see, I've got decent forearms. I do wrist exercises. I do hand exercises. I'll prove this on both hands so I'm not a masturbator. But, I work on certain things so that I have like a thickness in my palms. There's like just a strength there. There's a strength in the neck. I was doing neck training before everybody else and stuff. And you've got to work on these excess muscles, because then kind of when you've just got that structure there, it just makes you look like a well put together man. It changes the game. There's a thumbnail right there. There we go. That's how easy it is, guys. I've never actually done a proper thumbnail. I always take an image from the thing. So that's to prove my point. You'll see it on the thumbnail. But this is actually, let me look at the camera. There we go. In real time. And one thing you need to do, like I said, is do the added extra muscles. You need to focus on compound lifts, lift heavy, don't kill yourself, don't go stupid. Make sure you've got somebody with you if you're doing the heaviest bench. I've had many a situation that's landed back on me. Couple it with, and I'm doing a video on this soon, how to be big, athletic, and lean all at the same time. Like how to be athletic, big, aesthetic, how to do it all in one, and I'm going to show you guys how. But you still have to focus on like doing your sprints. You still have to focus on doing your muscle ups and pull ups and dips and whatnot. But if you do weighted versions of them, if you just kind of tie a sled to your back or do that sled thing where I used to pull the rope and then push it back, that really helps. But compound lifts are essential. The biggest I ever got was when I was doing weighted dips and weighted pull-ups, and then coupling it with just standard compound stuff, training legs like a lunatic. That's the biggest I ever got. And people always say with diet and stuff like that, obviously it matters massively and you have to eat more. But for me, like I've found over the years, as long as my testosterone's high and I'm hitting the gym, like I end up getting bigger. It's more the intensity on what you're training. People always say, what should I eat? I've never found it that difficult. I mean, I've been with guys at 1MI and they've said to me, you never eat. I don't see you eat a proper meal. And I've actually seen people say this about Andrew Tate. They're like, he never eats. Like you're around him all day and you just see him never eat. And yet he stacks on muscle like crazy. And I just think as long as your testosterone is high and when you train with intensity, your body has no choice. And also, I think when you get to a certain age, so I told you that story about me turning 25. I made attempts to try and get bigger when I was younger and it never worked. At 25, when I did it, I didn't do too much too different, but the muscle started stacking on. And it threw me back to a conversation I had with a guy in a taxi. I was hungover one day. He was driving me back from this girl's house. And I just said to him, I was like, how do you get so big? He was like an older guy. He was massive. And I was like, how'd you get so big? He was like, how old are you? I think I said like 22 at the time. And he was like, yeah, he was like, you're going to get to 25, 26 and just get massive. I was like, why? And he was like, I don't know. He goes, it's just how the male human body reacts. You get to 25, 26. And for some reason, you just get a lot bigger. He was like, you just get thicker, you just get stronger. He was like, if you stay on top of your weights, he said by like your mid-30s, he said, you're just enormous. Everything just kind of packs on. And he said, it's just something that happens to the male body. He doesn't know why. And I was like, sounds like bro science, but we'll see. Same thing happened to me and I can't explain it. It's really weird. If you look at any kind of Hollywood actor, same thing happens to them as well. They just get to a certain age where it just packs on. I don't know what it is. I really don't. There's probably some science to it, but it will happen. So you guys just have to be a little bit patient, but just focus on the compounds, getting stronger. You can go a little bit lighter than killing yourself at 100%, but go a little bit lighter and just focus on, you know, really good form, building strength. Don't get injured. Injuries just ruin you for 6 months, 3 months. You get a wrist injury or a knee injury, you can't lift anymore. It's just pointless. And then, like I said, on a Sunday, at the end of every session, focus on biceps, focus on forearms, do some hand exercises while you're around the house working, do some neck exercises on a Sunday, you know, do traps and whatnot. And before you know who you are, everything starts coming together. And one thing I found as well is like my back, I might bring up a picture if I got time. My back is enormous and I don't train it that much, but when I do train it, everyone else kind of does this. Everyone else just kind of pulls. That's a bicep workout. I don't care what anybody says. When I train back, I get in position and I'll pull and I'll twist and I can even feel it in my back there. And that's the difference is I believe I was actually training the exact muscle rather than a lot of people just doing that. Like I said, just going through the motions. I would kind of like do full body to the point where I would like squeeze everything. If I was doing bench, I would almost lose it. Like a lot of people I've seen online out bench Mike Thurston. A lot of people, I've seen a lot of people who do it and he never looks that strong. But the thing is, he's doing proper technique. His technique is to build muscle and his body is just built in that manner. But a lot of people are just doing it explosively for strength, terrible technique, which works. But his is very much, this is how you build muscle and he's locked it into a certain position. That makes such a difference. I actually do think you lose a little bit of strength. I think when you just forget about technique and you kind of just go as heavy as you can get enormous. I've done it in the past. But if you want to build aesthetic muscle and you actually want to look stacked across the board, it is the technique, it's the way that you actually train the exact muscle. And sometimes you have to go a little bit lighter to get there. Then if you want to look like an actual man, you need to get your body fat down to a very low percentage. You need to cut out the shit, guys. You can't be having desserts. You can't be having sugary drinks. It's time to grow up. It's time to just have 4 liters of water per day. All I drink, water and coffee. I don't touch anything else, no alcohol. My diet is pretty much just chicken, eggs, fish, a steak every now and then. I focus more on the white meats and because it just keeps you leaner, in my opinion, makes you feel a little bit lighter on your feet. I'm looking around the house now, beans. I don't eat a lot. I'll have maybe some greens, some veg chopped up. I've started throwing a few oats and rice and stuff like that in again, just to kind of keep the energy levels high. But guys, I just find it really easy to do. I think people overcomplicate it. It's actually a lot more simple than people make out. But then, yeah, you just get your body fat down. Go for a run like once every 2 weeks or so. You don't want to be doing crazy amounts of cardio, but do your hill sprints, do your sprints in general, do calisthenics day, and then, just sled push and pulls. I actually find it so easy. It's just consistency. And, you've got to test your body every now and then in terms of, weighted pull-ups. I think I got to a point where I was doing like 80 kg 1 rep max. And it was slow motion. I was just getting my chin above the bar. And then with dips, I was doing similar numbers. And it was just 1 rep done. And you've got to have a few years where you're doing that. 1 rep to 3 reps, 1 rep to 3 reps. And then you have this explosive 5 rep period of your life. And then you go real crazy on body weight. And over time, all of that just stacks up and it just turns you into somebody that you need to be. But yeah, train on after sessions and on a Sunday. Do like the extra added muscles to make yourself look like a man. Don't skip legs. Try and skip legs maybe 2 to 3 days per week. It'll make a major difference if you're a guy who hasn't been doing it. And over time, like you'll find when you put on muscle, your whole body puts on muscle. Everyone overcomplicates it. You look at the fitness industry and there's like 7,000 videos per person who does that. You don't need a lot. You don't need a lot. Like who wants to have the body of a complete god? You don't need it. It's a waste of time past a certain point. Me and Hamza actually had a discussion about this years ago. He said, if I improve my body by he said if I dedicate all my time to body and it improves by 10%, it doesn't really change my life. But he said if my income goes up by 10%, that's a drastic difference. And I was like, yeah, actually, I massively agree with you. Like you can be a 7, 8 out of 10 in body and then have an amazing wife and then some amazing kids and you focused on money for a little bit longer and your body never got to a 9 or a 10, but you stayed at like a 7.8 and that was just fine. And as long as you're big and scary, you can get away with anything. You can look like a man. You won't feel like a little boy anymore. People won't mess you around. So number 2 is fashion. So you guys have got to stop wearing bright colors. Stop wearing like a bright green jumper or something. Like just go for navy blue, black, grays. You can go for white, but go for a dampened white. Unless if it's like a shirt, then it will go with things. But like a kind of dampened blue, you can go for like dampened greens. Like just stop going with too many colors. You don't have to do too much. Like black boots, black jeans, gray top, and I got a black coat over there. It's subtle. You don't have to do too much. Like this is too much. This is too much. You don't have to do this. This is like, I ideally should shave this down a little bit. I just didn't have time the other day. My battery was low and I just wanted to trim that because it was getting kind of long on the sides. But that's too much. You just kind of want to keep it simple. Jason Statham stubble, a little bit of a beard. You just keep it simple. You don't have to do too much. It's making you look like a boy. If you've got like flicky hair and you're worried about a certain style and stuff like that, it's like, just go one length all over. Just go for something simple. Just go for something a little bit basic around here. Like I've got shaved head, basic. Like once this all fades in, this is basic. Nothing crazy going on. Haven't even shaved the neckline. I don't even shave that. I let it go up. I just shave there and there to make it look a little bit straighter. And away you go. As long as you're doing your chewing, as long as you're doing your orthotropics on your jaw and you're chewing, your jaw's just going to get bigger and wider. As long as you're doing your neck training, everything's going to come together. You're going to look pretty structured and big. But your fashion is everything, Don't go for brands. Don't have anything that has like, even Gucci, stuff like that on it. Anything that has Versace, don't go for it. Just go for simple, plain, dampened, down to earth, very neat and tidy, well ironed and smell very good. It brings everything together. You don't need too much. Just get a bunch of plain t-shirts, get some jackets and coats. And, just almost dress like a very fashionable mob boss. That's the trick. You don't want to do too much. Anytime I've done too much, I've gone out into public and thought, I look like a prick. I wish I was just kind of dressed down. It's like a smart dress down. It works really well. And the final thing you need to do, guys, and this is a game changer, okay? It stems from the mindset to be a man. The reason you feel like a little boy and you're getting pushed around is because you're almost operating within yourself. You're very scared of life. You're in a situation where some guy will say something to you and you'll walk off and then afterwards you'll regret it. You'll be like, in your head you'll be thinking, I should have said something. And then you'll say to your friends, I was going to knock him out, but I was thinking, no, you weren't. Don't lie. You weren't going to knock him out. Just be honest with yourself. I started being honest with myself when I was about 26 years old and it highlighted so much about me in my life and it just made me let go of a lot of shit. I would just be like, you were scared in that moment. And then next time something would happen, I'd be like, are you scared? Yeah, I am scared. I'm a little bit worried about this. Okay, acknowledge it But what's the right thing to do? And once you get to that point in your life, guys, everything will change. For example, some guy will be double your size, you know he's going to knock you out. He says something about you that you don't like, and you confront it. You just say, I don't like that, please don't do that. If it leads to a fight, if it leads to you getting knocked out, guys, I don't care, so be it, it is what it is. It is what it is, it's part and parcel of life. If it happened to me, I'd be like, okay, fair enough. That guy was a pure killer. I mean, if John Jones was saying some shit about me that I didn't like, I'd still be like, John, do you want to shut your fucking mouth? Do you know what I mean? Like, you just can't be disrespected. Oh, but he'll knock you out. It's besides the point. It's the same thing as if somebody said, oh, it's the most beautiful woman in the world, it's prime Megan Fox, and she's treating you like shit, but it's prime Megan Fox. I'd be like, I don't care, it's the wrong thing to do. She can get out of here tomorrow. Like, that's the moral compass that you need. And if somebody's causing you shit, you need to step up. If somebody's doing the wrong thing, you need to step up. It's a moral compass. And in your life, you will have many opportunities to become a man, but you're remaining a little boy because you're worried about losing a friend, or you're worried about losing a beautiful woman and a piece of pussy that, you know, you could get from anywhere. It's not really a problem. You've got to keep your morals at all times. You've got to have your standards at all times. You can't let that drop. That will turn you into a real man. I know loads of guys with money and muscle, and they're mental pussies. They're some of the softest guys you've ever met in your life. They're not naturally like that. They've crafted a character. The hyper-masculine character I told you guys about, they've crafted it. They're not naturally like that. They're rich and powerful, and they've got the muscle and stuff like that, but they're still chasing after women, being like, no, I miss you, come over. This, you know, where are you tonight? Are you talking to somebody else? Did he have a bigger dick than me? Did he have a bigger bank account than me? They're still soft. They're not built for this kind of life. They're still weak, and women sniff that shit out all the time. But as I've gotten older, I can sniff it out. I can see who's actually about it and who's not. That's why I'm a big fan of Tristan Tate. I've always said he is legitimately like that and has been from day one. And I can see it on certain people when they're playing a character and when somebody's actually legitimate. And it's from these opportunities in life when something pops up, when a situation presents itself. Like, I've had guys blow smoke in my face from vapes, where they see you, they see that you're maybe like similar size to them, or maybe a bit bigger than them, or you're dressed nice, so you've got a beautiful woman with you and they don't like it, and you can see they go, as they walk past you, I know what you're fucking doing. So you could just be like, what a prick, and just keep walking with your head down. And everybody would advise that, turn the other cheek, be a good guy. You've got to confront it because it becomes a habit. So you've got to turn around and be like, oi, excuse me. Be like, please don't blow smoke in my face ever again. I don't like it, it's unacceptable. Please have some manners. Even if your heart's pounding, you're worried, just doing that, you'll then walk away, and it will build a certain character to who you are as a man. You'll walk different. It will build character in here. It will rewire your brain, and you'll start thinking differently. And then you'll be more confident in certain situations, because now you'll start thinking to yourself, I can say certain things, I can confront people, I can speak my mind. I told you guys about this before. There's an inner frustration inside of men. Men everywhere are scared of life, rules, these fake rules that are put in place. Men are petrified of them. They keep thinking to themselves, well, I can't do that. It says no entry, which, you know, but like, it says no entry, I can't go there. Oh, the media's told me I can't talk to a woman, I better not do that. People have told me all my life to be quiet, don't speak up in class, teachers have told me. And it's like, once you break that and you realize they're not rules, they're just guidelines. They say that in Pirates of the Caribbean. He was like, yeah, I thought they were more like guidelines than they were rules. That's what it is. It's just kind of guidelines. There's no rule against a lot of this stuff. You can pretty much do whatever you want to do, and nobody... We drove into Barcelona, the VIP section, the other day, and the guy at the gate was like, no, you can't come in. And I was like, yeah, and just drove in. I was like, we'll deal with it when I'm parked up. I need to be here. So I parked up, and somebody else came over, what you doing here? And I explained, and he went, oh, brilliant. Yeah, the VIP stuff. Thank you for being here. We love to have you here. And it was like, yeah, I knew that was going to happen. Like, you just got to have the balls to be like, you're telling me not to, you've got a high-vis jacket on. Man, I'm not listening to you, I'm sorry. I know why I'm here, I know what I'm doing, you're talking waffle. I'm just going to go and park up and just go and get done what I need to get done. Why would I listen to you? And then he did it to the next person, and they backed up, turned around. No, just do whatever you want to do whenever you want to do it. And once you start living like that, like a grown man who's not being told like some little boy in class, sit down, Chris, do this, shut up, don't talk. It's like, I've always had this though. When I was in school, I used to get kicked out all the time of class because they would say, why are you late? And I was like, because people are late every now and then. I was like, should we just crack on with the lesson? I was like, they go, you're disturbing everybody. I was like, but now you're disturbing everybody more. So maybe we just ignore it, brush it under the rug. If it keeps happening, then perhaps we'll deal with it. I'd be like 14 years old saying that to teachers. I was like, but now you're arguing with me. We're wasting more class time. Do you want to just crack on and just get on with the lesson and maybe we do this afterwards? That was always my approach to things. I didn't like authority. I never have. I don't like being told what to do. But when I've got into actual life, it's helped massively. Because when people tell me this is the way it's supposed to be, this is the way, because it is. And I'm like, but why? Why does it have to be like that? And when you question these things all the time, when you break these rules, when some guy on the street tries to walk into you and bump shoulders and you're just like, what are you doing? Why did you do that? And people just go, oh, fuck you, and they'll just walk off. Once you become that type of guy that operates in that way and speaks in that way and stands up for himself, if a woman is bad-mouthing you, but it's the best sex you've ever had and she's so beautiful, you got to be like, no, get out of my life. I'm not interested. That level of inner strength will take you further than anything else. And that level of mindset and that level of composure to every situation in life, that will then overlap into you becoming an actual man. That is why you feel like a little boy, because you might look like a little boy, you might dress like a little boy. They can be fixed quick. You can give yourself a year and you can change how you look. Fair enough. But it's this. That's why you feel like one, because you have this inner frustration from fake constructs that have been put in place by life to tell you, you can't do that, you shouldn't do that. If you do that, everyone's going to tell you you're a bad boy. If you speak too loud, everyone's going to laugh at you. If you approach that woman, she's going to reject you and tell all her friends, and then you're going to get in trouble because #MeToo is a thing. It's like, once you just ignore this waffle, when the #MeToo stuff was going on, I was just talking to women, enjoying myself and doing whatever I wanted to do. I remember, like, I could go into detail. If I was on school, I would go into detail on the school community. I've told some guys some stories. But when everyone was tiptoeing around women like 5 years ago, I just doubled down. I made it even worse. And it worked. It just had like a 10x effect because everyone was such a pussy. It's when you listen to society, just don't listen to anything and believe about 50% of what you actually see. All of it's nonsense. None of it's real. You can get away with pretty much whatever you want to do. You make your rules in life. It's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy. You can just do whatever you want to do, guys. And once you have that belief that I'm the man, I'm the leader, I can do whatever I want to do, nobody can tell me otherwise, and you have zero fear of consequences, that is when you're a true man. Let's say you've done something that is definitely going to lead to you and your girl splitting up and you have to tell her the truth. You know it's going to end badly, but you do it anyway because you know it's the right thing to do. That makes you a man. When you get into an altercation with another guy who's double your size, double your strength, maybe even a former boxer, you know he's going to knock you out, but you go, it's the right thing to do. I have to do this. I have to stand up for myself. It's not about the outcome, guys. It's about the decision that was made at the right time to do the right thing morally. That's true strength. It's not about the strongest guy or the guy with the biggest dick or the guy with the biggest bank account. It's who's got the most solid ground underneath their feet. Who's willing to stick to their morals in all situations? Who's going to chuck their friends under the bus when there's money to be made? Who's going to leave their friend on their own on a night out when a beautiful woman asks them to come home with them? Or who's the guy who goes, I would, but I've got my friend with me, I'm not going to leave him. Who's that guy? Because that's the guy that I think is a real man. That's why you feel like a little boy. Because these tests in life have sprung up. These moments in life have sprung up. And you've backed down from them. Because you've been worried about the consequences. When you're no longer worried about the consequences and you're just doing it because it's the right thing to do, that's the day that you will become a man.